Well, here we are. It's taken me 2.5 months to get here, but I have made it. We are now up to the final street racer in the US Championship. And ultimately, because I bought this McLaren F1 LM in the last episode, and in case if you were or weren't paying attention, I'm sorry that you don't feel patient enough to watch me purchase these things, but whatever. So I've bought this, the McLaren F1 LM, and believe it or not, I also have, ironically, this model of McLaren up on my shelf as well, even though that model's the GTR, but that's by the by. So I'm going to change the colour of this thing. I want to change it to black, because that is the colour of the model I have up here on my shelf. And I think I'll leave the rims the same. But I guess the only thing I can really do with this thing is put on a neon. And basically, I'll make my neon... let's make it blue. Yeah, I'll make my neon blue, and doesn't need to flash. As for nitrous, I'll also make this blue. Figured it might be worth it for me to try the black and blue combination. Anyway. So, as for the rims, is it possible for me to paint... Oh, okay, I guess that's just the stock colour. As for the brake calipers, yeah, I'll make those red. There's just something about red calipers that sits well with me. Sure, blue exhaust tips. And the only other thing I'll do now is put on a manufacturer vinyl, because that is precisely what I found when I was looking for this. Although I will have to change the colour combination. Okay, so I'll go custom. The first colour I'll go with... I'll make that blue. As for the second colour, I will make that... Actually, yeah, I quite like that. I'll keep it that way. And as for the number plate... Well, the license plate, as it's called in America. We Europeans call these number plates, by the way. Anyway. I do this because I figure it makes enough sense to people who are paying attention to customization and like the way I do things. Also, we have a Michigan license plate. Yeah, I'd say that's all good. And I think the last thing I'll do is the decals. So first off, I'll put on a McLaren decal on the front, and as for the rear, if I can put on the rear. Oh, not that one. I'll put on... This is purely of my choice, by the way. Sure. Actually, no. No, I won't do the rear window. It just spoils the look. I'd say my car looks fine as it is. I guess the only thing I can really do now is just put on the dub badges. Okay, I think we're done now. I think that's pretty much everything we can do now. We've also put on the nitrous upgrade, so I think we should be good. Okay, enough time wasted. Let's actually get on with the final 2 races of the career mode. And once I am done with this, we should get the closing cutscene.
Orale, you're shining! Now you put some paper into your ride!
Well, I did just buy this thing, Oscar, so that's understandable. Anyway, let's now go after Roy, our 7th and final challenger in the US Championship. Roy's driving a McLaren F1 LM, one of 2 races, and if we can win the first race, we will get 8 grand. As for the prize I get for the other race I do, well, stay tuned to find out. I might also have a plan for how to end off the Tokyo career, because I know that is going to be coming once I'm done here. But first off, let's take down Roy.
Street racers are all over the city. Take them out one by one if you want to reach the top.
Oscar, that's precisely what I have been doing. Trying to remember the lyrics to that song at the top. I come up from the bottom and into the top. For the first time I feel alive. I can fly like an eagle, strike like a hawk. Do you think you can survive the top? Yeah, it's basically an Initial D song. If you're asking how I know those lyrics, because I personally quite like Initial D. But anyway. Yeah, let's do it. With our final 2 runs of the mainstream career mode, as we are competing against Roy. I'll probably have to sell a few of my cars by the time I get to Tokyo, because we will be getting a lot of prize vehicles, to say the least. I thought for sure that was going to be terrible, but it somehow turned out not to be terrible. Anyway, let's see how we go. Just gotta make sure I hit my marks. That's basically what I'm here to do. Okay. Well, I can certainly understand why Roy chose this car, because it's actually pretty good, if I do say so myself. And almost getting caught up in a wreck, but it's okay because I managed to get myself out of that wreck. And taken this way because it's a shortcut, and almost going off course, but able to get it back again before hitting the bus. And using zone because I can. I definitely made a good choice by going with the McLaren so far. Just depends on knowing if I can actually hold on for the win. I think that's the only real question I have here. But this car is fast. It is what Vince would describe as being damn fast. That's basically just how good I think this car really is. And I cannot take the shortcut that time, and now I just have 2 checkpoints to go. Now I just have to figure out how to get to the last one without choking myself. I think I did just choke myself. Unless I can somehow pull it back again. And I think I do pull it back again. Somehow. Even though I wrecked right at the finish. I think my car might be broken. Well, whatever. I still pulled it off. Over Arnie, Tracy, Weston, Monica, Roy 6th, and Ying finished in 7th.
I taught you everything you know, SA.
That was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. That does surprise me. Well, you know what? I might as well get my replay, because I figured it was best for me to save Roy for last, because, well, he's basically the guy who I've encountered the most number of times in this game, out of all the street racers. Roy is definitely the guy I've encountered the most, to put it simply. And once I am done with this, I will be looking over my progress and making sure that I didn't miss anything in terms of progression. Although this will also come with the inclusion of 45 optional races, which I did over the course of the career. 15 in each of the 3 cities, if you're asking. Because 15 times 3 is 45, if you want simple math. I thought for sure I was going to choke right there at the end, but I did manage to hold on and pull it back. And in all honesty, that was pretty easy, in spite of me making some of the mistakes I did. But nonetheless, I was successful in getting my dubbed out McLaren F1 LM to the win. And that is all I care about. Now it just depends on knowing if I can get past the second race without any real dramas. Okay, I think that'll do it now. I'd say we've recorded long enough on the replay to get some decent shots. And now, our final race of the career mode is called Core. I don't believe we have missed anything, as far as I'm concerned. And, well, looks like it's just going to be damp. I think we should be okay. As long as it's not raining, we should be fine. Is what me thinks. And on the brakes, now I just need to make sure that I can keep myself in contention for the win. I think since the chaotic end to my first attempt, where I very nearly won this race on my first attempt before I practically wrecked myself, the rest of this run has just been chaos. As in, it's basically been enough to be regarded as what is practically NASCAR levels of chaos. Because it feels like it's just becoming a case of... Because it feels like just a case of literally throwing caution to the wind and basically just causing accidents all over the field. It basically feels like a Daytona style race at this point, where you basically just know at some point, whether it's scripted or unscripted, the big one is just going to strike. Regardless of how hard you try to avoid it, it's just going to strike. Or don't want it to happen. As in, the whole field is just going to pile up in one big demolition derby that's just practically not even worth being called a race anymore. Because of how often the wrecking happens. It happens too often. And that's basically what I think this race has now become. It's been a case of me basically trying to stay away from Daytona-style chaos. Which is probably the only stereotypical view that a lot of non-NASCAR fans technically have for the sport these days, whether they like it or not. Can I please stay up front this time? I don't want this to be another Daytona-style finish. Finally. And I literally did that at the 30-minute mark. And I think if I'm not mistaken, we should be done with the career mode now. The mainstream part of the career mode, anyway. So, 2.23 seconds was the overall margin of victory over Tracy. Boo came home third. Then it was Drywall who finished fourth. Ivana finished in fifth, and it was Roy who finished sixth and last.
That's a classic, pimp.
And that should pretty much be the end of it. Yeah, we won the Lamborghini Murcielago. And now it is time for the moment of truth. Do we have to do anything else in the career mode? No, we don't. Because we have unlocked the Cadillac 16. Also, by the way, if you unlock the Cadillac 16, you do technically score 100%, and that proves it. So there we go. The mainstream career mode is now done, and I think once we're done with this cutscene, we should get something else. Okay, on now to what should be the closing cutscene here in Detroit.
Wow, you think you somebody, don't you? Mr. Big Time. Yeah, hey, good job. Put a lot of work into her. She's gonna fly for you. And she's beautiful. Just look at her. And she needs to be driven with respect. Not by some San Diego swinger who thinks he's hot stuff or something. So don't be a punk. Enjoy.
And that's official. 100% career completion. We have now done it. After basically 2.5 months of playing through this game and doing our best of efforts in trying not to fail, we have now made it to 100%. And basically, I have edited out both the credits and also the unlock scene for the Cadillac 16, and I know there's no point in me doing this, but just to make absolutely sure with plausible undeniability, yep, there it is. 100% completion. Done all of the career progression races in San Diego, Atlanta, and now Detroit. And also, along with all the tournaments and club races, we also managed to get through a total of 45 city races as optionals. And now, I think it's time for me to showcase my 2 new cars, because I can do that. Alrighty. So, let's get a look at our 2 new cars. So, for winning the US Championship, we get this green Lamborghini Murcielago, which, believe it or not, is a car that I technically made reference to when I finished Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, And basically, this was the car I finished off that game with. Although I'm not sure if the video itself is available worldwide anymore, because, well, for some sort of copyright infringement. I don't know. So, the Lamborghini Murcielago is what we get for beating the US Championship, and for scoring 100% in the mainstream career mode, we get this, the Cadillac 16. And my god, is this car big. This car is the concrete definition of having a car that's real big. And that's precisely what this one is. Anyway, there we go. It's done. And now, there is only one more thing I need to do now, and that is basically to head back to the main menu and go over my career stats, because I can do that. I will also have to sell a few cars in the process, so I can make room for the prized cars, for the prized vehicles that I'll no doubt be getting throughout the Tokyo progression.
Yeah, Holmes, I'm impressed.
So, we're basically done with the mainstream career mode now, and now it is time for me to look over my stats, because I can do that. So there we go. That was the US Championship, and also, this now marks the end of the Double Threes Marathon. So, let's have a look over our general stats. So, these are my general stats. Top speed of 299.2 miles per hour, along with a total airtime of less than 3,000 seconds. Spent a maximum airtime of 4.3 seconds. Some of these stats will change, by the way. And everything else. And we did all of this in just over 49 hours. And I'll not go through every single one of these stats, but in terms of the numbers of what I've used, I used 1066 on the zone maneuvers used. I also used raw a total of 320 times, damaged out a total of 18 times, and I used aggro 146 times, whilst also hitting 195 vehicles whilst I was in aggro mode. But anyway, let's go through the Tokyo career stats now. So, 272 wins, 683 restarts, along with 8 tournament wins, a 67 skill rating, beaten 26 racers, unlocked 82 vehicles, along with 41 third placed finishers and 78 second placed finishers. However, the game is not done yet, because we still have to do the Tokyo challenge. But anyway, that will be coming in a few weeks, as I'll explain in a minute. So, 100% original riders, 100% Chopper of America Bike Club, 100% American Royalty Car Club, 100% Luxury Rollers Car Club, 100% by invitation only, 100% in the Big Players Club, and last but not least, 100% in the Unbeatable Street Racers, with a total career percentage with an overall mainstream career percentage of 100% and an overall total in the end of 77. Total game progress completed altogether. And in terms of my overall earnings, I earned $3.183 million in the end of the career mode, and I did all of this in the space whilst also restarting the game from square one I did all of this in the space of 49 hours. And in terms of my vehicle stats, I've driven a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 cars in the mainstream career mode. And I can guarantee you these cars will not be the last ones I drive. But anyway, there we go. The mainstream career mode of this game is done. And now, I think that's a good time for me to end the Double Threes marathon. Because before we get on with the Tokyo Challenge, I'm gonna need a quick break. Because I don't really have a lot of time to get started with a summer project this year. But maybe next year I'll have a bit more time. But nonetheless, I'm going to give myself a quick break from the game because, my god, as much as I really love this game, it can also get pretty tiring after a while. And also the punishments can be very noticeable when it comes down to exhaustion. But anyway. So, the mainstream career mode of this game is done. And next time, we will be getting on with the Tokyo Challenge. But before then, I will see you all in a few weeks. And in the meantime, I do have something else planned. Probably 1 or 2 other games that I plan on doing whilst taking a break from this one. But anyway, yeah. So, the Double Threes marathon is now done. And next time we play this game, we will be getting started with the Tokyo Challenge. So, from this game at least, I will see you all in a few weeks.